This review covers the AMT 2010 Chevy Camaro SSRS Hot Wheels Edition. It's AMT kit number 1255, and it's a 125 skill kit, which is rated a level 2 skill level. It's an easy builder, and it's meant to draw youngsters into the hobby. With a little help with the decals, they could put this kit together. It is a glue kit though, so you'll have to keep that in mind. Now, Chevy and Mattel have had an ongoing collaboration for years promoting this combination, and it's resulted in numerous real car versions and model car products like this one. So this kit kind of combines America's favorites together, adding one more chapter in the Camaro and Hot Wheels legacy. Here's the box art of the kit. As you can see, it's very colorful, meant to catch the eye of a youngster. And it also sports some orange tinted wheels, which are pretty attractive. One thing to note is that both the tires and the wheels are vinyl, and they build a little bit differently. The decals are water slide, and they're really nice, but they've got some issues we'll talk about later. It's a curbside kit too. There's no engine, but there's still plenty of detail to make a nice looking car. And so let's take a look at those decals. As you can see, they're really colorful. The register, for the most part, is very good. But on closer inspection, you'll notice there's some flaws in them. There are little tears at some of the corners of the decal sheet. Now, might have just been my sample. But Round 2 would be glad to send you some new ones if you find the same thing on yours. The wheels are actually very nice. They're one-piece wheels and, of course, nice vinyl tires with good tread on them. And we begin construction with that, so pay attention to the size because the rears are larger than the fronts. And also note that they are directional. In other words, the point of the direction generally will touch the pavement first when the car is moving forward. So they're meant to go in a certain way, so pay attention to those directional tires before you assemble them onto the car. For a bit of realism, I scuffed the tread on the tires to make them look like a road-worn tire on a real vehicle. And now we'll try to get the parts out of the kit for step 2 assembled and ready to put together. One note here, I will probably deviate from the instructions quite a bit, but that's because of painting, which sometimes is necessary before another step can be done. But you can see here the bottom of the chassis has some script writing on it. You may want to sand that off and smooth that over. So paint the chassis flat black and the transmission aluminum as well as the oil pan. And then paint the tailpipes chrome and the catalytic converters are gold, and then install those into position. Now remember too, if there are any plated parts or even painted parts, you'll have to scrape that off before the glue will work to adhere them. Next, install the package shelf according to the instructions, but we may want to wait till later, and I'll tell you about that. But for now, it's painted silver as well as the exhaust tips. In the next half of step 2, it calls for the 2 cross members, the brakes and the mufflers. And I painted the cross members silver and the mufflers are chrome to match the tailpipes. And then the rotors are left unpainted, but the calipers were painted yellow to match the body color. Next, assemble those tires to the wheels, and then we'll be installing those onto the metal axles that slip through the rear axle part and the one in the front. And then just squeeze those together until they bottom out and look straight on your axles. Now we'll get into step 3 here, so go ahead and gather up the parts for the interior. Next, add those decals to the dashboard for the radio and the instruments. And get ready to put the steering wheel in place. Now it's time to go ahead and install the parts into the interior. Most of them are semi-gloss black, but for the seating, I wanted to go with a little something different to give it a little more interest. And so I painted that with a gray paint. Now make sure that you use a paint that's made for vinyl because if you don't, it doesn't stick well to the vinyl seats. Also, there's some decals, as you see in the headrests, that can be placed for emphasis. Also note that it's at this point you'll find out that having that package shelf back there makes installing the rear seat difficult, so I would leave it off until after the rear seats are in place. Gather up the parts for step 4 that you see here. Next, you're going to want to clean up the body. Any flash that you find anywhere with some light sandpaper or a hobby knife. And then you're going to paint the body your choice of colors. In this case, I used Tester's Bug Yellow. And also, you might want to paint the rocker panels black. The kit has a headliner too that you snap in, so make sure that you paint that and add it to the body along with that structure, the body support piece, the silver piece towards the left end before we made it to the chassis. And while you've got that body paint out, go ahead and finish up the other pieces that are painted body color as well. Now you can see here at step 5, because this is a fairly basic kit, almost everything comes together in the final assembly. So take a look at the instructions. By the way, we've included the rest of the instructions at the end of the review. Now we'll do a little, detail painting. You see the grill, cowl, and the antenna here. We're going to paint those a semi-gloss black. And you got to make sure if there's any chrome on pieces to clean that off first, either sand it off or put it in a bleach bath. And here are those pieces after they've been, painted. They have a more effectual look, and they're more like the original colors on the vehicle. For a little extra detailing, you'll want to paint the window surrounds, those channels around the windows, a semi-gloss black, as well as the windshield wipers before installing them into position. And as you probably noted earlier, you get a choice between clear or smoked lenses, and as I was going with a kind of a yellow and black look because of the trim, I chose the smoke windows. I think they're a nice touch for this kit. So gather all the glass before installation and get those ready for installation, along with even the smaller portions of the lenses as well. Next, we'll do a little detail painting up front. The grill areas are flat black, and then we're going to install the grill, the hood, and the front lights at this time as well. In the back end there, you can go ahead and do the same detail painting and add the rear bumper, the spoiler, and the bezels and tail lights. Next, you'll want to carefully glue those extra pieces in place, the side view mirror and the antenna on top. So let's address those decals now. You see the red circles there? That's where it shows little pieces of some of the corners were not attached. It's like they were cut off from the original somehow, and I just cut them cleanly off with a sharp hobby knife and added them in after I put the main decals on. Now they're a little bit large, so you may need some setting solution to get these to conform to the body's panel lines, etc. One other issue that I found for the decals is that those black decals for the rocker panels and the rear stone pan there, it would probably be just as easy to mask off the rear bumper and body and just paint those with some black paint. They just didn't fit well and caused some rippling, so it's up to you, but that's just a tip that you might want to consider. Well, there you have it. Your Hot Wheels Camaro is finished, and as you can see, it's a real head turner. It'll get a lot of notice on the shelf, and even with a little extra detailing, it comes alive because it's got some real nice appointments. Look at those great looking orange chrome wheels. That's something you don't see every day. And they match and contrast with the black and the orange that's on the body here. But you could go with the blue style too of the vehicle, which is the original. And you could even just basically build this kit right out of the box, and that's what makes it a nice kit for kids. They can just do all the construction and then patiently learn how to apply decals to a model. So if I were you, I'd buy one and build it with a kid. Then you can put it on either of your shelves.
Thanks for joining us at Right On Replicas, where we're proud to bring you the best scale model kit reviews on the planet.
This review is brought to you in part by Riders Hobby Shops, where the fun begins.
Stop in to one of Ryder's 2 convenient Michigan locations where you'll find a full range of the latest hobby products, supplies, parts, tools, and paint. You'll find aisles and aisles of scale model kits, RC models, model rockets, Warhammer gaming, and railroading products. Stop in at Ryder's today and tell them Doug sent you.